Okay, so tell me, Ryan, it's COVID-19 was an interesting time, especially for you guys, and kind of had an uptick in sales. What is it though? What were some of the pivot strategies that you guys use while you're thinking about COVID-19 and then kind of coming into the summer months? Did you change anything up?
Yeah, certainly a lot. The first big change was just how we were doing our day-to-day business.
Right.
We mid-March we decided to fully close down our showroom, and
Okay.
we have not reopened since. And so we've
Oh,
been doing
okay.
everything out in our parking lot. And we started with allowing people to walk up to the side door, and then we've got event tents that we started setting up, and right now we've got 2 event tents set up. We've got outdoor computers. We've got mobile payment options. We've got a repair stand out there that we can do check-ins and everything else. So that's the biggest thing that we had to pivot with, is how do we operate without having a building to operate in.
Right.
That's the last couple months we've been pretty static with that, but as that was kind of developing, a lot of people were just coming up with great ideas on how do we do this, and how do we keep our staff safe, and but also how do we avoid long delays, people trying to get in. I know there's people that are doing one in, one out type of strategies with their businesses, and there's times where we'd have probably 8, 10, 12 people waiting in line, and what's the safety factors there, and that type of thing. So we're adequately able to serve multiple people in this environment. The days like this week when it's been really hot, the days the storms roll in, that kind of stuff presents a new set of challenges. But again, we've got fans going, and we're under protection, and we got big sandbags for when the winds pick up and everything else. So
Right.
So that's been our biggest, those are our biggest initial challenges. How do we keep operating? The second challenge has been supply chain issues because of the bike boom, because of everybody wanting to get out and be outdoors. It has really put a stress on the supply chain, and we've had to run our ordering business much different than we've ever had to in the past. We have had to pre-order a number of things. We've had to put a lot of things on back order. We've had to go outside of our normal product lineup in order just to have product to sell for people. And our vendors are not saying that that's going to slow down. Our largest vendor, Trek Bicycles, we're currently ordering bikes into April and May of next year, which we've never had to do in the past.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a deep enough inventory right now to sustain you?
Our on-hand inventory is not that deep.
Right.
Basically, how we're operating right now is we're getting basically weekly shipments of bikes.
Okay.
And it started to slow down a little bit, but a lot of times, most of those bikes, by the time they hit our door, are already pre-sold. And so our inventory turns are really high right now. Our inventory is as low as it's ever been. And I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. If you were coming to me today to look for a bike sub $1,000, I would not be able to sell you anything but maybe 2 bikes, as I look at my showroom right now that has 2 bikes that are under $1,000.
Yeah. And but I imagine I could order a bike right through you. We could build a Trek bike online together, probably.
Yeah. So there's a couple of options with that. Because we have been so proactive with putting bikes on order and back order, and Trek and our other major vendor, Salsa Cycles, is pretty good with their ETAs. I can tell you what I've got and when I'm going to get it. So if there's a particular bike that you're looking for, I can kind of give you a ballpark as to when we're going to see it. And then, we can notify you when it arrives, or we can take a deposit if that's exactly what you want. That time frame is okay.
Sure.
Trek does have, a pretty cool program called Project One. It's mainly for their higher end bikes. But, if you came in and said, hey, I'm really wanting to get into cycling, and I want a really cool road bike that's my own. And we pick out the paint color, we pick out drivetrain packages, we pick out the whole works,
Right.
And then you write me a check and we get it ordered.
How cool is that, though? I mean, and for a novice, people think, bike $500, probably, right? But I mean, bikes can get up there, can't they, Ryan?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's you can spend 10,000 plus bucks on a bike if you really want to.
Right. And Iowa City has such a rich biking community, which is fascinating.
It is, yeah. Iowa City's got a great biking culture, and it's anything from utility bikers, transportation, that type of thing, to some really good athletes that race at a competitive level. A few former pros live in town that help with that bike culture, and so it's a wide gamut of people.
Oh yeah, I have a few friends who are physicians at Mercy Hospital, and I'm sure their customers are yours. And they got a regular bike inventory in a special garage behind their house.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got to have the fleet.
And they do. Oh my word. Well, that's exciting. I mean, I'm so glad to see that the biking industry's really picked up now, almost to the point to where we have to wait a while for inventory.
Yep.
But it's a good sign. I mean, I believe COVID-19 has really kind of forced those core values that we've maybe ignored as a community, as a culture for so long.
Yeah, for sure. I think the outdoors culture, the exercise culture, but also the thing that we saw early on was family. We were selling families of bikes, 4 or 5 bikes at a time, kids bikes all the way up through adults. Wow. And then the great thing about it was, I would see them out there riding, whether it was in the neighborhood or on bike paths or down at Terry Trueblood or whatever it was. And so we had a lot of customers come back in and said, for better or for worse, I've never spent so much time with my family, family dinners, family bike rides, family activities. And so, yeah, like you said, those core materials that sometimes we forget about with sports and activities and work and everything else, people really kind of wrap back into that.
Yeah, and that's great to see that. All right, so we're coming into the winter months eventually. How do
Yes.
I modify my bike so I can keep on riding, unless it's 40 below zero, but otherwise, because people do.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you've got winter cycling is over the past probably 8 or 10 years has really become easier. Yeah. The clothing has gotten better. The equipment's gotten better. You can, if you've got an existing bike, we can outfit it with studded tires and, special lubricants and, fenders. And then there's if you're wanting to get into a bike specifically designed for winter riding, we have the fat bikes, the big tire, 4 or 5 inch wide tire bikes that, it's
they look like car tires, Ryan. They're huge.
Yeah. Puts a big smile on your face every time you ride it, though. They're so much fun.
Really?
And you get out, and you get out on that fresh snow, and you get a little timid at first, and then you start picking up some speed and playing with air pressure, and they're really a very capable bike in those conditions, and it really has opened the door for people to continue to ride recreationally or commuting or whatever it is throughout the year.
Yeah, and I really think, in all honesty, there's only just a few days every winter that you really can't ride a bike. I mean, if it's like actively having a blizzard, right, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Our community in Iowa City, they do such a good job with snow removal, getting that stuff cleared off, that bike riding really is a year-round sport in Iowa City.
Yeah. Definitely a lot easier than it ever was. Yep.
Yeah. So tell me, what's your biggest inspiration? What is it through all this 2020 business? What's been your biggest inspiration?
The adaptation of people, I think, has really been the biggest thing. Be it at home with our kids and finding things that they maybe wouldn't normally do. My boys picked up fishing this year. That was their outdoor activity. They've got access to bikes and everything else, but they were riding their bikes to go fishing. So as a staff, our staff being able to adapt to ever-changing conditions in our work environment. And also the the commitment of our staff to look out for one another, to be able to make the right decisions outside of work so that we're not bringing things into work that might get, spread the disease or spread the virus, I guess I should say. But everybody's been very aware of their coworkers. And then just the resilience of our industry, and how proactive our vendors have tried to be with finding solutions for our problems, for our questions, and providing a lot of information on how to navigate this and best practices that they're finding at other stores and other towns and markets that are similar to ours. So our vendors have really helped us, give us some kind of good best practices to be able to follow or utilize bits and pieces of.
That speaks a lot to you, Ryan, and the culture that you've established at World of Bikes. When you have employees who I'm sure have been with you for quite a while, but they kind of make a silent oath, maybe it wasn't silent, but an oath amongst themselves to say, we are going to do everything away from work to maintain our safety so that when we come to work, we're keeping each other safe. I mean, you just don't see a lot of that around. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. And a lot of times, some of the outbreaks you hear about are, from, outside coming in, and, so that's, everybody's managed to stay healthy and have each other's backs.
Good. That's fantastic. Well, thank you, Ryan. Don't go away. This has been another episode of Business Basics. I'm Lee Iben, and my special guest today was Ryan Baker with World of Bikes. We had a little technical glitch there, but we'll get that all spliced together, Ryan. And I really appreciate you joining us today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. My pleasure.
You bet.